Hey there, yeah, it's me. Before this starts, remember that song I used in the last video? Yeah, the one that I was playing in the background of the video? That's just gonna be my background music from now on. Yeah, that's a good song for background music. And why am I in the closet? Because I want to make it more ominous for you, because that song terrified people when it did the little jump scare, big noise thing. Yeah, you get the idea. It's gonna be playing throughout this video and a lot of my others. Just be aware of that. Now, I bet you're curious as to why I titled the video the way I did, but if there's one thing that I know about all videos on YouTube and the algorithm, it's that if you add something like Polymer clay tutorial onto your video title, you're gonna get views. So this started out the other day when I was actually sculpting inside of a Discord server voice chat, and I realized that people actually really seem to like the sculptures that I make. I mean, they're like actually having to, you know, talk, and they like to hear and see me make them. So, I mean, I made these three the other day, these three main right here, yeah, I did those, and people really seemed to enjoy it. So they told me, hey, do you have a YouTube channel? I said, yeah, I do. And then, you know, next thing I know, they said, you should make more videos. So, you know what? Here we are with another tutorial today. Tutorial in layman's terms. The other ones weren't really as much of tutorials as it was just me kind of freaking out in the background while time-lapsing it. I'm actually going to kind of explain it a little bit better this time, and now that I have better editing skills than I did back then, I can properly make this and make it a bit more interesting for you all to see. So we're starting off now with getting our little reference photos together, which I kind of need to compile so I can actually have a good thing to look at when I'm making this, because I need photos in order to actually create what I'm trying to make, because if I don't have that, then it's a bit of an issue, you know, because I can't really do anything if I don't know what I'm doing. So I decided that I'm going to actually look into the files of one of the Friday Night Funkin mods for once. Yes, I know, it's another character from there, but get this, right? It's fun to make them. I'm sorry. It's just interesting and it's fun, and I've been playing the game a lot lately, but people are like, that's unoriginal to play the game. You try playing the game, huh? It's a bit difficult. It's pretty fun, too, I'll give him that. I mean, like, the community's a bit strange, but I mean, frankly, I'm not really in the community. I just play the game. What's wrong with you? Anyhow, I went directly into the files, and I decided to start opening up PNGs, and would you look at that, I've got them all right here compiled, and they're high quality and everything. So you know what I can do? I can print these, and I can use them to my advantage. It'll be swell. Oh, at least my brother's even getting on the trend. Printer complete. No! Despite my phone case falling, we got our files printed. So now in order to start, what I need to do is I need to create an aluminum skeleton for it, or at least I need to make a skeleton. It's just aluminum wire. You get the idea. Anyway, I'm going to be taking this wire, and I'm going to be making an armature for it, which I'm going to be taking this, wrapping it around, making it go up into the head, into the hands. It'll be swell. But in order to do that, I need to put this up on my bulletin board so that I can actually model this off of it, you know, so I can get it up and running there. I haven't actually ever done that part before. I've always had it laying down on the table, but this will actually make it easier for me to do because I need a lot of wire. So basically, this is what I got so far. I'm going to have it where it goes out like this, where the hands are going to be like, this is going to go into the top of the hand, so it's rather going to be the arm, the things that look like arms here aren't going to be arms, rather they're just going to be the bits of red that go into that, and then this whole area here is going to be red. It's going to all flare up like fire into it. Don't pay attention to that. That was something that I made a video about a while back, and I forgot to do it. It was, you know who it is. You know it's my guy. But I haven't finished him yet. That'll happen at some point. But, you know, that's the thing. It's going to be going like this, and this thing is going to be so heavy that I'm actually going to need to wrap the wire twice. So it's going to need to be double threaded. So I'm going to need to wrap two wire around each other. So I'm going to need to measure out the length of this, and then double that, and then put in a drill and a bench vise and spin it around. Alright, so you see that really big piece of wire there? Yeah, I need to double that and then wrap it around onto itself, which we'll be doing right about now. We got a double-threaded wire right there. I forgot that it kind of shortens it a little bit, but that's fine. I can always make the clay figure slightly smaller. The thing is going to be giant anyway. Back up we go with this thick wire. Hey there, post-editing me here? Yeah, one thing I realized was that I didn't actually give a little explanation as to what we're going to be doing here. Well, I'm going to just give it a little bit of a proper time-lapse explanation for this. I'm going to voice it over, and I'm going to be doing a whole good thing with that. And I'm going to actually do it better than I did for Vector or Donkey Kong when I did it a while back. It's going to be a good proper voiceover where I'm going to tell you what's happening, and although I will be placing some sculptures in the front of the camera because some people in the voice chat at the time wanted to see them, you're going to still be able to hear me tell you what's happening and how to do everything, at least to the best of what I can say. So I'll give my little best interpretation, but you know what? If it doesn't go well, then I'm sorry, but you just weren't listening because I put effort into this video. So you know what, kind of like I did earlier, I'm going to give a little snap of the fingers, and then we're going to go right into this. We're going to go right in, all in, you know, hands are going, you get the idea. So you know what, on 3, we're going to head in there with music and everything, alright? So we go on 3, and then you go 3. Alright, you know the drill. This is basically the voiceover that I'm going to give for this whole thing. I'm going to try to do it in one take, but if I can't do it, then I'm just going to have to. You're going to have to deal with it, okay? So basically, I start off with creating the aluminum skeleton, also known as the armature, which is just the thing that's going to make the whole body of the thing stand up. And I'm going to have to make that so that I can make the whole thing be supportive, or else the whole thing doesn't work. And now I'm basically just modeling off of the image. So I took a bunch of clay, and I'm making the bottom whole area there, which basically consists of me just taking a whole bunch of clay and some aluminum foil as filler, and then kind of sticking it all together so then I can make a big old base that doesn't require like 5 pounds of clay, or rather I just end up using some stuff to kind of fill it out. So then I cover the rest of the armature with clay so that I can kind of, as said, fill it out. So I do that with a little more aluminum foil too, because I'll be honest, this took so much clay, and it took so much stuff, that it really is just kind of hard to do it all with clay, because it costs a lot more, and frankly, it takes a lot more time and just effort, and you know, I don't want to spend more money on stuff that you're not even going to see anyway, so the aluminum foil is just better. But you basically fill it all out to the desired shape. So if you look at the image that I had there, or rather if you just look up a picture of Friday Night Funkin' Tricky Hellclown, you'll see exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because it just looks like that. That's just how it is. It's only making a model based off of an image. I mean, it's very difficult, but you know what? You just have to make it to the best of your ability. So I'm mixing the color there to make the red for the body. So I'm going to kind of make all that, and it ends up looking pretty good. But all you have to do is you pretty much just have to model off of whatever you're looking at. So if you can draw, say, an image from another image, this is the same thing, but the 3D version of that. You just have to have enough images from enough angles, and then you just have to replicate it exactly as you see it. So I just did that. So I kind of replicated the bottom body there, which is mainly just fire. And I know it doesn't look like fire, but I didn't have enough red clay. I actually used all of my red clay that I had during this entire thing, and it took so long. And I'm going to be periodically placing sculptures in between the camera and the, like, you know, everything else. So it might be a little bit not visible, but people in the voice chat I was in really wanted to see them, so they're going to kind of be there for quite a bit. But as said, it really isn't the worst thing in the world. It is not it's difficult to say the least, but I mean, you know, it's doable, you know? So essentially, you just take everything that you can find and model it off of what you can see. That's the whole bit there. So I'm doing the head now, which basically I made using a ball of clay that I originally used aluminum foil for, realized that was too difficult, and then just swapped it over to clay because I just said, you know what, to hell with it, I'm gonna do it with that. So you take a big ball of clay for the head, and you basically model a skull off of that. So you essentially take that ball of clay, and then you cover it with the color the actual thing is going to be, which was a dark red for me. So I took the ball, and then I rolled out a thin sheet of clay, and I rolled it over the top, and I made the bottom jawline with a piece of aluminum wire that I based off of the image. So I took that, and then I stuck it directly into the bottom there. And as you can probably tell, it's kind of doing the job where it's going to become a skull. So I had to make it so that the jaw would at least align with the face and everything, so I had to do some trial and error for that. But you basically take that, and then you take the details for the head and the eyes, which you just model with some, like, not thin sheets of clay, but, like, just model it off of the thickness that you can find. So you essentially take, I think it was a 1/4 inch thick piece of clay, you roll it out into a sheet, and then you cut it into little grooves and notches that fit around the head. So you basically ended up taking it, and then you make the little area around the eyes, which kind of was the scrunched up portions of the face, and you can see that I added it there. And I just kind of placed that on top, put some red clay over that, and then smooth it all on to make the face the correct shape. And, you know, you can kind of have it where it all goes nicely together, and it just looks a lot better that way. And I'm kind of making the little things for the teeth now, which I made with a little nub of waste clay for each one, and then cover that with red clay, and then I placed it directly onto the jaw and the teeth. So I was able to kind of place that there, and that was the base for each tooth, which then I placed the teeth on top of it, and that's basically just rolling out a cone of clay and flattening the bottom of it so that you can place it on top of it and have it all line up nicely. And you get them progressively smaller as they go down, which kind of made it, you know, just it looked a little bit nicer on the end. And essentially, all that you have to kind of do with that is you just, as said, you model it off the image. I'm not the best at giving tutorial advice, but what I can tell you is that if you just know kind of what you're making and the character that you're doing, it's not the worst. It really isn't the worst, because you basically just have to make the thing off of your base image, which is kind of easy to do once you kind of get into the rhythm of it, which it took me a while, 4 years, but I mean, practice makes perfect, right? So basically, at the very core of it, it's a difficult process, but it's a fun one at that, which, you get the idea. But back onto the head, it's basically the same thing. I'm putting the teeth together on the bottom jaw now, which is another nub of waste clay, and then some red clay over top of that. The waste clay is just a bunch of random mix-match colors. You can do whatever you want, but I frankly don't care because no one's going to see the inside of the teeth anyway. So you model all that, you stick them together, and you don't need wire for that. I don't think I mentioned that. You can kind of just smooth it on, and then the natural adhesion of the clay should be able to be supportive enough. But I made the hair now, which is essentially just a large mass of aluminum foil covering a wire, and then I just stuck some more stuff over top of that. So that wasn't really too difficult, and I made it twice. So it's basically just a big piece of wire with some foil wrapped around that into a cone shape. And you can see I stuck it all together now. I put the head onto the top of the body, and it went pretty well, and it's kind of looking all right now. And I'm making the hands, which is basically just a blob of clay that I molded into a rectangle, and I rolled out 4 long cylinders, covered that with red clay, and then I added some triangular pieces of black clay for the fingernails, and that's done. And then boom, my phone died because I didn't think to myself to actually put it on the charger when I was doing that. But you know what, I'm kind of glad with how everything turned out in the end, because I ended up just doing the same thing. You saw that I was doing the final hand there, so you know, I ended up getting that done, which is basically the same process as the original. And then I put fingernails on, which was basically just taking black triangles and sticking them directly onto it. But here is the finished product. It took like 8 or 9 hours, but I'd say it was certainly worth the time. I mean, look at that. You got to compare the two. I mean, I'd say that's pretty good. You know, I've basically encapsulated the whole thing. And you know, the hair. Oh my God, the hair. I think I already am gonna mention this in the voiceover, but geez, oh my gosh, big hair. Anyway, point of the matter is, I hope they get some insight as to why I don't make a whole ton of videos on these, because I mean, they're super fun to make for sure, and they're fun to make videos on, but they take so long to do. So I mean, honestly, if I were to upload videos on these every once in a while, I mean, it wouldn't be the worst idea. And I think I'm probably going to do more because they definitely are fun, but I don't know if anyone really enjoys them. I know that for a fact that people in the Discord enjoy them. I've been in a Discord server and I've been streaming these, and people have really seemed to like them. But, you know, aside from that, I don't know if any on the YouTube like it, but you know what? I don't care what you think, it's going to happen anyway. So be prepared for many of these in the future, because these are pretty fun. Anyway, I'm going to bring this down to the oven to bake for like 45 minutes, because there is a lot of clay here, and I mean like several pounds, so this is going to have to bake for quite a bit, but that's going to get done. Next thing you know, it's going to be up and running. Or rather, it's going to be standing in place, because it's never going to be able to move again. So we go bake, and we go 230 degrees, and then that's going to go, it's going to be good. I also need to take every rack out of the oven, because this thing is so big that it doesn't fit otherwise. You couldn't hear what I said there, but basically I need to take out every rack in the oven, because that thing would not have fit. I forgot to mention I baked this for about 45 minutes. Alright, this thing is basically done, but what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to basically let it cool down while it's in the oven, because this thing is very large, and you know, I don't want to take it out of the oven just yet, because if I do, then there's a chance it might fall, and I don't think anybody really wants that. So I'm going to leave this oven open, because I'm the only one here, and if I do that, then the air is going to cool it down, and then I won't have to deal with burning things or dropping it. Hey there, you want to know something crazy? It's been 3 days. Yeah, I forgot to kind of record some of the other stuff, and I just frankly got lazy and I didn't do it. But the finished product is now right here baked on my shelf, and then you have regular Tricky the Clown right there doing good. It's a good old time all around. And then I have the phase 4 of Tricky right here, which, I mean, you know what, I'm pretty happy with it so far. It's going to be a little bit better in a bit, because I'm going to go back into the voice chat and record that. But you know what, aside from that, I think that's all I really have to say. So I'm going to be making a lot more of those sculpture videos in the future, because I think that they're a lot of fun, especially to the new people that subscribe to the channel, which I feel bad for you, because you're going to have to watch these, and you're going to be terrified throughout it, because I make only chaotic things, but you know what, I think that's good all around. So I hope that this has been a little entertaining thing for you, and maybe give some insight as to what I have to do for these, even if it was badly explained. But hey, I'm sorry, I'm not a professional. I'm filming on a phone camera, on a tripod, when I was in a Discord voice chat, so you get what you get. I'm sorry. But anyway, have a good day to you, and I hope you have fun if you ever try to make something like this.